Hi everybody, I'm Celeste. I'm a Nationally Certified Interventionist, and I want to welcome you to Mondays with Miley. Unfortunately, Miley is unable to join us today. She's a little preoccupied with a task, and I'll get a bit into that in a moment because it's actually part of our story. And as many of you may know who have tuned into Mondays with Miley before, this is a special edition of Mondays about Miley. So as some of you may know from previous videos, Miley was something of a wild child when I first adopted her from the SPCA, and she had a really hard time self-regulating her excitement. And in July we moved to an RV resort in an effort to minimize our surroundings and live a little more simply. And so we'd take her on walks, and she'd get super excited there's horses that live around here, there's donkeys, there's cows, there's emus, there's wild turkeys. And she'd get super, super excited and want to run and play and chase and bark and all that kind of stuff. So we had started walking her using a halty, just to help her self-regulate some of her excitement. And that just went along with her being a puppy and being a hound and not getting the discipline and structure that she maybe needed with her breed and her age. So it was just part of our teaching her to self-regulate her excitement. And we've been doing a lot of work with that. And I talked a little bit about in another video about teaching her when she gets really, really excited to stop, sit, and calm. And then when she's calm, she can move forward. And she's gotten to the point where we'll be walking and she'll see something that gets her really excited. And I'd see her start to vibrate. Like, she just gets so excited. It was like a full body experience. And then she would stop, sit, and calm without me even having to tell her. So she's learned to really start seeing those signs of her own excitement, and she would learn to calm herself. So these were just some big steps in her process and her learning. And so this past weekend we actually started walking halty free. So she would just walk on her leash because she was doing so well with that self-regulation of her excitement and doing so amazing. And she did so good this weekend, just walking on a leash without the halty. And so we both just started to see her reaping some of the rewards of all her hard work in learning to self-regulate that excitement. And that's really the point of the story, is that, even in recovery, we have to do a lot of hard work in the beginning and really work on changing some of our patterns and our thinking and our behaviors and all that. And it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of grueling work. But we get to the point where we start to reap some of those rewards. And this gets us to the point of the story where I can tell you what Miley's currently preoccupied with and predisposed with, which is why she can't join us tonight. We were on our walk this morning, halty free, and she was just on the leash, and she found a bone, and so she picked up the bone, and it gave us an opportunity to work on something that she has been working on, but a little bit more. We started working on the bring it. So she wanted to play with it in that moment, but I said, no, Miley, you got to bring it. You can't play with it right now. You can play with it when you get home. So she would pick up the bone and she'd bring it. And she was a very good dog with that. So she got to bring the bone home. But the mean mom I wouldn't let her play with it while I was at work today. So she had to wait until I got home from work. So I got home from work about 15 minutes ago. We went for her walk, and she couldn't wait to get into that bone. So right now she's rather busy reaping the rewards of her good behavior. So and her learning process, and really doing all the hard work that goes into changing some of her patterns and her behaviors and into more healthy, constructive behaviors. So she's currently working really hard on her bone right now, and she's just really enjoying the fruits of her hard work and her rewards, because if she was walking using the halty today, she wouldn't have been able to pick that bone up and bring it home. So it was a very timely experience that just a few days after being halty free, that she got to bring that bone home. So it really was a good a good reward for all her hard work and all the effort that she's put into improving. And it's so, I think it's just such a good message for people that are maybe in active addiction that want to get into recovery. It's not easy in the beginning. It's a lot of hard work on changing those patterns and changing those behaviors, and working on some of those underlying issues. But and I can say from personal experience that I was in active addiction, and I was so scared of getting sober and doing that work and having to find different coping mechanisms other than using drinking to numb out and deal with my pain. So, but now I got to reap the rewards of that, and that's not to say that my life now is all sunshine and rainbows, because it's not always. There's hardships that we have to go through and lessons that we have to learn from that, and I still have days where my anxiety levels are higher than I'd like, or dealing with financial issues right now with COVID, or whatever's going on. I still have to deal with those, but I have the solace in knowing that I can come home and choose not to drink. I get to spend time with my precious little Miley and live a pretty good life. And I've gone back to school. I'm working on my psychology degree, and I'm working helping others in mental health, and people who are working and wanting to be sober and working in their recovery. And I get to pay forward what was given to me. Sobriety and recovery are such gifts, and that healing is such a gift that now I get to reap the rewards of all my hard work and work on paying it forward to helping others who are struggling. And it's so amazing, because my biggest reward, I was even talking to somebody today that was, when I first started talking to them, they were really, really struggling and in such a bad place. And my heart was just full of empathy for them, because I know what it's like to be there. And, after a couple months of working together, they said to me, I'm in such a different headspace, and, I can feel happiness and joy now. And that reward that comes with being able to help somebody. And, I can only take so much credit because they did all the hard work, but, I got to be there to support them through that and to see the results of their hard work. And what an amazing gift that I couldn't have if I was still in active addiction. I wouldn't be able to experience that joy with that person of getting mentally healthy and better, and, going from a place of struggle to a place of happiness and joy, and reaping those rewards of doing your hard work. So and Miley's off reaping her rewards right now, and she's pretty sweet about it. She's working hard on that bone. She's just given the gears to that bone, and she's just in her glory, and she's so super happy. And I have the joy of being her mom, and to be able to see her make all this progress in her behaviors, and to really feel secure, right? Because with dogs too, when they're acting up and they're in that place of excitement, it's because they're in a place of fear and uncertainty and anxiety, and that's how it manifests in dog behavior, because they don't know where their place is in the pack. And so I'm very firm with her on what her place is, and what's expected of her, and she knows what's expected. And she knows that no means no. When I tell her no, she knows to stop, and she knows that when she's engaging in those positive behaviors, she gets rewarded, with treats or love or positive affirmations, and she knows what to expect in her day. And that gives her that great sense of security, and that sense of freedom, that she knows what to expect and when. So, and I feel like that makes her a happier dog, right? And to see her change from being that fearful, insecure dog that didn't know how to act or how to behave, and having that freedom of being free of that fear and insecurity and anxiety in her. And she's such a different animal. She's so much calmer and she's so much happier than when I first got her, because she has that structure. So, you know, and I know that doing all that work, it's very difficult and it's very grueling and it's very consuming. But, you know, personally in my life, I've gotten to see the rewards of that. I've got to experience the rewards of it. I've got to work with others. I've got to work with Miley, in doing that work and reaping those rewards. So I just want to encourage you, if you're in early recovery, or at any point in your recovery and going through the work and, you know, maybe struggling with something, you know, to keep moving forward and going towards those rewards. And you know, and if you're in active addiction, you know, I know it's a scary place to be, to start to contemplate what that's going to look like. How am I going to get through the first 24 hours, the first week, the first month, the first year of sobriety, without knowing how, or how to what coping mechanisms to use instead of using substances to cope. So that's a very scary place to be. And I really firmly believe that if I can do it, anybody can. Because, you know, when I was in active addiction, I couldn't see myself getting sober. I just didn't know how to get even 24 hours of sobriety, and being alcohol free. Like I couldn't wrap my head around how to do that and to work through some of the pain and some of the depression and anxiety that went along with that. So, you know, I really hope that can give, you know, at least one person some hope tonight, in that if you're in that place of active addiction, that there is hope and you can get through that first 24 hours, that first week, the first month, the first year. Because I firmly believe if I can do it, anybody can. And, you know, I wish everybody tonight a sense of safety and a sense of wellness, and the motivation to get sober if you're in that place of active addiction. And for those of you in recovery, I just, you know, really hope that you can continue on that journey and find that joy and happiness. And I just want to wish you all well and lots of love and happiness and joy and stick with itness. And I just hope that for everybody who's struggled with addiction. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Mondays with Miley, without Miley tonight. Have a good night.